guys, it's Jess, welcome back to my channel, and today is Tuesday, which means it's Top 5 Tuesday. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favourite books of all time. Honestly, there are loads of books that I love and it was really hard to narrow the list down to 5, but here we are. So at number 5 is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling. I absolutely love The Half-Blood Prince. It's my favourite book from the series and it's the book that I just really connected with when I read it. I love the element of mystery to it because we're trying to find out who the Half-Blood Prince is and we're trying to find out like what Malfoy is up to. When we do find out that Snape is the Half-Blood Prince, that was just a big wow moment for me. I really remember getting very excited over that, and the end was equally as shocking and it just really hit me on such a high emotional level. It was unreal. Also, I love that we get to see more of some characters that we don't particularly see in the other books, especially Draco Malfoy. He's one of my favourite characters from the Harry Potter series, so I was really happy to delve a little bit more into his character in the Half-Blood Prince and just see a little bit more of what he's up to. It was a fun read and it's the Harry Potter book that I always go to if I am in a Harry Potter mood. Number 4 is An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth by Chris Hadfield. This is a recent read for me. I read this book last year and I fell in love with it. Not only is the cover gorgeous, but I found this book really inspiring. It is a kind of autobiography. Chris Hadfield talks about his life before he was an astronaut, when he was training as a pilot and when he became a pilot, to eventually becoming an astronaut and the process he went through to get there, and then the time that he spent on the ISS. I just really loved the positivity that he had and the way he approached different scenarios and the way he trained himself to think like an astronaut and apply that thought process to things that he does on Earth as well as in space. It was really insightful, very interesting, and one of my favourite non-fiction books that I have ever read. And whenever somebody asks me for a non-fic recommendation or for a science or space recommendation, it's always the book that I recommend first. It was just such a joy to read and I definitely think that you should read it too, especially if you're interested in the International Space Station or just space in general. You will not regret it. At number 3 is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This is one of my favourite thrillers and I read this when I was in university. I hadn't seen the film before then and everybody had recommended this book to me saying you should read Gone Girl, you should read Gone Girl. So I did, and wow, I think it's the only book that I have ever thrown across the room because I was so shocked at the plot twist, and I have never done that before because I respect books. But yeah, it really got me, and Gillian Flynn, she's just so clever with her writing. She had me in suspense the whole time and I was suspecting the wrong person throughout the entire book, which made me so angry. But I love that. I love it when I am wrong, and I loved that we saw like both characters' points of view in the book and we were really questioning what was going on from the start. I read it so fast. I think I read it in like a night or maybe 2 nights. I can't remember, but it was just, yeah, it's fantastic. Go and read it. At number 2 is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and I've said it before and I will say it again. A Song of Ice and Fire is my favourite fantasy series of all time. I absolutely love it. George R.R. Martin has me gripped every time. He's just so incredibly thorough with all of his history and his characters' backstories, and you really believe that that world is real. You really get invested in the characters and you really just fall in love with them, and I fell in love with the wrong characters. I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely love the villains, and I think that's a testament to his writing because he's created such interesting villains. Sometimes you really, really feel for them and you absolutely adore them. But A Game of Thrones was the first book that I'd read that really introduced me to multiple points of view. There's several different characters in the book that you're following, and that really helps with the story because you get to see what's going on at different times in different places. And there were a lot of characters to get to grips with, so it was a bit difficult to start with to figure out who was who, but it just made the story more enriching. And A Game of Thrones is my favourite because it's really where everything began, and it was a book that really, really surprised me. So much happens in it. Oh my gosh, like I just can't even begin to explain like how much happens in that book. But it really does set you up for a roller coaster of a journey, and it's just. And at number 1 is Dracula by Bram Stoker. Now this is my all-time favourite book, and I read this when I was a teenager and I absolutely fell in love with it. I was obsessed with vampires regardless, but there was just something about the character of Dracula that I really, really loved. I love the whole mystery surrounding him and all of the folklore that's in this book about where vampires originate from. I love the whole gothic horror vibes that it gives, and it's set in the 18th century, which is like the perfect era to set a gothic horror novel in. There's just something so creepy and atmospheric about Victorian England. And again, it's another book that's written in multiple POVs, and it's also written in the format of diary entries, letters and newspaper articles. And at that time, as a teenager, that was a really interesting concept to me. I hadn't come across any books that were written like that before. And also it's just fun. There's just loads of mystery to it, and there's loads of suspense, and there's a few moments where your heart's pounding in your chest and you're a little bit scared, and I love that. And it's a perfect book to be reading during the autumn time, particularly October and Halloween. Everything about this book I adore. It's also set in Whitby in Yorkshire, and I'm a little bit biased because my family are from Yorkshire, and I'm hoping to reread Dracula next month when I go on holiday, and I'm hoping to take a day trip to Whitby so that I can, see all the places that inspired Bram Stoker when he was writing this novel. Okay guys, so that was my top 5 favourite books of all time. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if they are in your favourites. If they're not in your favourites, let me know why. And also, shame on you. I'm joking. As usual, please like and subscribe, do all those YouTubey things that you're meant to be doing, and also follow my Instagram and my Goodreads to see all the books that I have been reading previously and all of my reviews. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye!